Yeah, 6:30.
Welcome, everybody. I would like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. American Legion Post 370 is proud to be able to offer the post and sponsor the candidates forum for Commissioner, Presiding Judge. My name is Bob Ringhausen. Jim Bannum's back here. We will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and at that time I'll turn it over to Brett Engel. And I want to remind all veterans in here, in uniform or not, you are able to salute the flag during the pledge. It's all been passed, and it's okay to do that. Thank you very much. All rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'll turn it over to Brent. Thank you for showing up, and I hope that you leave here with enough information to tell all your friends. It's an important time coming up in 2 weeks. Everybody needs to vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. How about a hand for Bob Ringhausen? This is the guy who, anytime I need anything, and we talk about setting one of these things up, he makes it happen. So we appreciate it, Bob. As Bob said, my name is Brent Engel. I'm going to be the moderator tonight. I just wanted to go over a couple things. At the outset, each candidate is going to be given 3 minutes to discuss his campaign. Because the governor is a Democrat and we have no incumbent in this race, that means that Terry Burris is first on the ballot. He will get the opportunity then to speak first. I will then go to the question and answer session, and because Mr. Burris was first in opening, Mr. Gamm will be given the opportunity to answer the first question. Yeah. Then the candidates will take turns answering. Whoever answers first, the other candidate will answer right after that. They get 2 minutes for each answer. Both candidates get 2 minutes per question. A signal will be given when the candidates have 15 seconds remaining. Candidates, that's your signal. 15 seconds when that bell sounds. If you continue after your 2 minutes, I will interrupt you and go to the next question. And don't try me because I've done it before. Some of you know that. Now, at the end of the question and answer period, candidates will be given another 3 minutes to summarize their campaigns. We don't have to worry, because sometimes, at the state and national level, we have to worry about candidates berating each other. We don't in this race, thank goodness, that we don't have to put up with that. But candidates may not ask direct questions of each other. The questions come from you and from the media. And there are some good ones and there are some duplicates, okay? And I think once the question is asked, you'll know which one was 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Questions of a libelous or lascivious nature were not considered. Some inquiries may not get answered. We hope to get through all the questions, but there is a long list. This is one media member's 3 cards worth. There's a bunch of audience questions here too. I'm going to get to the audience questions first, probably.
What?
Oops, there goes my standing in the media. Candidates are welcome to stay after the race or after all the questions have been asked, because we'll be around for a little bit tearing all this down. But we expect 60 to 90 minutes here. So, yeah, it'll probably last that long. So we'll take a break. I promise, because I'll probably have to go to the restroom. And I'm sure some of you may have to also. One thing we do want to do is thank the media for the coverage. Also, tell your friends, please, that if they couldn't make it tonight, they can see it on Tribcast, because Tribcast is recording, and we'll have it up on the People's Tribune website. American Legion Post 370 has agreed to sponsor and host this event solely as a community service. Neither the organization nor its members specifically or publicly endorse candidates for any election. With all of that said, does anybody have any questions? Candidates, are you ready to go? All right, there's your 15-second warning. 15-second warning.
Usually means the exit.
There you go. Mr. Burris, you have 3 minutes to discuss your campaign.
Okay, my campaign's going to be based on my past experience in, like, I was elected to 3 terms as Bowling Green City Council. As alderman, we prepared the city's budget each year and conducted other city business. I also worked with the citizens of Bowling Green to reach resolutions with any problems they may have had within the city. Then on January 1st of 2014, I retired from MoDOT with 21 years of service, and all of it in road and bridge maintenance. I started in Louisiana as a crew worker and finished in Bowling Green as a senior crew leader. While at MoDOT, I worked closely with customer service, addressing different customer concerns. Therefore, I feel I can represent all Pike County citizens in a fair and equitable manner.
All right, thank you very much. That was only 55 seconds. You know, the shorter you are, the more questions we can ask. So just keep that in mind. Mr. Gamm, you have 3 minutes to discuss your campaign.
And may I stand?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I think a lot better on my feet. I am Chris Gamm. I'm seeking the presiding commissioner. Grew up here at Vera, Missouri, farm up there with my brother Jerry for more than 40 years now. And I consider Vera as the center of Pike County, and Louisiana and Bowling Green are the subdivisions and suburbs. I base my seeking this on my life experiences of school, the civic organizations that belong to the Bowling Green JCs, having all offices in that organization, moved on to the Lions Club, again all the offices. 9 years on the Bowling Green School Board, working for our kids. We had over 150 employees and a $7 million budget there. Again, working with people. 10 years on the Pike County Soil and Water Board, elected by the entire county those times. I was chairman of it for 9 years, working closely with federal and state monies and getting appropriations made for terracing, waterways, anything to do with water quality and soil quality with the landowners. I am a member and clerk of session, elder, a teaching elder at First Presbyterian Church in Bowling Green, and many of you might have heard me in the pulpit through the years. I've really gotten heavily involved in my church work and worked with the Presbyterian Synod, which takes in Missouri and Kansas. I've given programs in Kansas City, Wichita, Kansas, on the plight of the rural towns and churches. The wife and I were in a movie in 1986, 87 that brought out the problems of rural communities, and we happened to win the Cannes Film Festival in 1988 with the best short documentary in the world, so we were very proud of that. Proud parents of 3 kids. Each one of them is a professional now, serving our nation, and I can't tell you what 2 of them are doing because they're satellite spies, and then a son that's deputy sheriff of Jefferson County. and my leadership ability, I think, will bring out working together.
Thank you very much. We will now proceed to the question portion of the question and answer portion of the event. And Mr. Gamm, because Mr. Burris led off on the 3-minute version, you get to go first with this question. And it's a direction type of question. The Pike County Presiding Commissioner's job pays $34,679.58 per year. You're obviously not in this race for the money then, so why are you in this race? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I want to bring about a cooperation with all the elected officials, non-elected officials, the service groups that serve this county, and to bring about for a visioning of the future. A lot of the decisions that are made do affect today. They do affect tomorrow, but what do they do next year, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years? When I'm gone and our next generation has to take over. I don't want them in the situation like our national debt of trying to figure out how we screwed up and straighten it up. That's the main reason why I'm in this situation.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes to respond.
I would like to mend some fences with Mark Twain Regional Council of Governments and see if we can't work things out with them and get back on board with them and maybe get some more grants and just get Pike County headed back in the right direction. And also like to see us get a few more hard surface roads.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you will have the first opportunity to answer this question. Everybody talks about the need to attract and retain jobs, but the devil is in the details. How do you propose doing it? You have 2 minutes, sir.
Ask that one again, please.
Everybody talks about the need to attract and retain jobs, but the devil is in the details. How do you propose doing it?
I guess we need to work closely with Carolyn and see about getting people trained. Carolyn Weiscarver, which is PCDA, and get her to get people trained for the jobs that are coming to our area or we want to come to our area.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes.
Several years ago, I worked with the Pike County Development Authority, and we had a large group of college professors, economists, the McEagle development people that just did Winghaven and the MasterCard, and they presented a program at the fairgrounds. And there was a lot of work, a lot of expenses, sadly, that will have to take place for Pike County to become a major player in any kind of economic development. It required water, it required roads, it required railroad. We've got all that. Our only problem was we didn't have the people. 10 years ago, we got very close to getting the Toyota truck plant here. It happened to be on one of my farms I owned out just west of the prison. The place in Indiana got it over us. And the big drawback was we didn't have the people working here or living here. And I tried my best to tell the Japanese individuals that were out in October in the end of one of my bean fields that build it and they will come, please. But it came down to Hannibal, here at Bowling Green, or a place in Indiana. And Indiana got it because they already had the people living there. So we need a lot of work done for infrastructure, a lot of visioning, and to find out that, yes, our office needs to work hard with that, but we also need to work hard with the individual towns that we can all get together and get on board.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you will have the chance to answer this question first, and it's another question about economic development. County sales tax revenue decreased between 2012 and 2013, but appears to be doing a little bit better this year. What are your thoughts on ways the county can promote local purchases? You have 2 minutes, sir.
The county buying the commissioners or the population?
The question is, what are your thoughts on ways the county can promote local purchases?
The county government.
Yes.
That's a good one. There's already enough tax abatements to bring new businesses in. The main thing is having something other than a Walmart or the internet to purchase things, needed staples or those that are unneeded. There's a Sam's at Wentzville now that gets frequented. It's getting closer here, but how do we do that? It's going to have to be the entire economic position of individuals. We've got to have a little more take-home pay so we can go spend it. And that gets into the broad picture of the state and national. And that isn't what this is about. This is about our local. I really don't have any concrete answers to that. We've got to continue educating our young people, and we've got to emphasize that living here would be better than at Troy or better than at St. Charles. And you all know the growth that's been down there.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
Well, just short and sweet, we just need to promote citizens to buy local. And then we need to practice what we preach, and the county government needs to, if we can buy local and stay at home.
Thank you very much. Now we get into some real meat and potatoes. We'll get into one of the questions that's the most asked and one of the ones that's the most prominent tonight. Mr. Burris, you will have the first chance to answer it. It is, the Missouri Ethics Commission is investigating allegations that the Pike County Sheriff's Department is transporting unauthorized passengers in its vehicles. What is your stand on this issue? You have 2 minutes, sir.
My stand is real simple there. It is in the hands of the Ethics Commission. Therefore, I can live with whatever they come back with.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes.
The question is, the county commissioners do not have any jurisdiction over the sheriff's department. Number one, that is state statute. The one commissioner taking it upon himself to file it without a vote and without the consensus of the rest of the commissioners, I think is wrong. One of the things my leadership style will be, that would have been addressed behind closed doors. It would have been settled. We would have shook hands, and that would have been the end of it. The sheriff's cars in front of schools on a regular basis, it doesn't take much listening to the news about all the turmoil and the problems, the predators that seek our children. If a child every now and then is hauled in a vehicle in an emergency situation, I can see and understand that. Our second son is a deputy at Jefferson County. He has his own car. He has hauled one of his children, his daughter, one time in his car while he was on duty. And that was because she got sick at school and he had to go get her. If he'd gone home, got his personal car, went back to school, picked her up, school would have been over. So that one time, he hauled her. It is up to Sheriff Cordy, and it is up to the rest of that department to figure out who does what with the cars.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, this is a similar question. It comes from the audience. You'll get the opportunity to answer it first. How do each of you feel about county equipment being used on private property? You have 2 minutes, sir.
Never.
Short and sweet.
Mr. Burris?
To me, it depends a lot on what it's being used for. Is if we're clearing back trees to where the road will thaw out quicker in the wintertime, where you won't have ice on it and make it hazardous to drive on. I think that's a good thing. But as far as for private, for someone to use it for themselves, for personal gain, no.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Burris, a similar question. And this again comes from the audience. Is the Sheriff's Department vehicle controversy as big a deal as Dan Miller is making it out to be? You have 2 minutes, sir.
No.
Thank you. Short and sweet. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes.
Ditto. It's trivial.
Thank you very much. And now we'll go on to our next question. This has to do with Boonslick, which was mentioned earlier. And Mr. Burris, I believe it's your turn to go first. Is that correct? Oh, it's Mr. Gamm's turn. I'm sorry. I'm not following my sheet here. I'm worried about the time. Already called me once, Bob. There's my first screw up. Next time you get to get up here and do this, right?
No, you're doing fine.
Okay. Mr. Gamm, what are your thoughts on the ongoing effort to join Boonslick, the Boonslick Regional Planning Commission? You have 2 minutes, sir.
First, we need to keep wondering why we're trying to join the Boonslick. Is it because that we've run out our welcome with the Mark Twain disposal group, or what actually has gone on enough that we have to change? Again, I am one of these that works in cooperation. I don't feel that I personally know enough of the background. I've heard a lot of rumors, as a lot of people rumor. That's why in the Bible that's the number one sin, the loose tongue. But I'm sure it would be more beneficial with Boonslick. They do have a lot more money because that is a higher population of people that get taxed for their trash. But that will be something I'll have to find out more about.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
I feel we'd be better off to mend some fences with Mark Twain. I think it's smaller communities which we would have better chances to get the grants from them as compared to Boonslick, because I think in Boonslick we'd be a little fish in a big pond.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you'll get the first opportunity to answer this question. Right now, there's absolutely nothing that would stop a large corporate hog farm or a cross-state power line or any other potentially controversial development from locating in Pike County. Does this mean it's time for county-wide planning and zoning? You have 2 minutes.
I personally don't think so.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes to respond.
And I'll need an hour. My brother and I built hog barns in 1974. We were one of the first ones in this county to build confinement buildings. We had to get permitted, we had to go through DNR, we had to have surveys done, we had to have environmental impacts done, the runoff, we had to go knock on neighbors' doors. And that was in 1974. There are laws and laws and laws. I can't even go in my creek and move a rock in there and not be in violation of a federal law. Planning and zoning, I guess it'll mandate trash collection or something. I don't know what planning and zoning would do. We're already lawed with the septic systems. I cannot work on my septic system at home. It was put in the 50s. If I so much as put a spade tile next to a line, I have to totally revamp it, get re-certified and re-inspected already. The planning and zoning would be nothing more than another bureaucracy that would take more of all of our tax dollars to implement.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, Mr. Gamm, this question will be yours to answer first. Right now, 911 calls are dispatched from both Bowling Green and Louisiana, and the service is supported through a tax on landline phones only. What are your thoughts on building a centralized dispatch center and taking steps to ensure that there's enough money to keep this service going with so many people dropping their landlines? You have 2 minutes, sir.
If I understand our budget correctly, we're at $20,000 that the county pays Louisiana now for their service. It kind of piggybacked into it for a while. Myself, sadly, I've had to use the 911 services a few times, and they've been by cell phone, and we've had pretty good results. A centralized system would greatly benefit this county. It would be a central area. I know I've talked to Sheriff Cordy about that, and former County Clerk Bob Kirkpatrick, and it's going to take a lot of studying and a lot of cooperation, and that's basically all that right now that I know about that without getting into further background and details.
Thank you. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
I wholeheartedly agree with Chris on this one. It's my understanding that if you call 911 and it goes to Pike County Sheriff's Office and you have a medical emergency, they ask you all the questions and then they turn around and transfer you to Louisiana to the ambulance district and they ask you the same questions again. And I think we lose a lot of valuable time, and a centralized location would be a lot better.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you get to answer this question first. There have been numerous stories over the past few years of friction between county elected officials and staff that originates in the presiding commissioner's office. What is your philosophy on dealing with personnel problems? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I would always have an open door. If anyone has a problem, they could come and talk. A lot of the issues I think have been put out in public. It needs to be behind closed doors, one-on-one, and try to get things settled in a professional manner.
Thank you. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes.
I agree with Terry. And like I said earlier, I will not, and for my leadership style, and those of you that know me, I have no problem talking to people quietly without being a boss or too much of a hindrance for someone to honestly reply. And it will be settled. The worst thing when you pick up the paper and it's continually this strife, this struggle between the offices, individuals. Can you imagine a business or individuals wanting to move to this county and they see that? We've got to rectify that. We've got to act like adults and get on with it. We've got to work together. We cannot have one over the other. Each person has to understand that without the other, we will not succeed in this county.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you get to answer this one first, and it's very similar. How much involvement do you think commissioners should have in the way other elected officials run their departments? You have 2 minutes, sir.
Again, it's my understanding that each elected office is a standalone by statute of Missouri. That we have to work together. We can't oversee, because then what use does that person that was elected, duly elected to that office, feel when there are others breathing down their neck, telling them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and what kind of job would that individual be able to accomplish? In my construction work and working with my brother, I've had to learn to work with, not over or not against. And that simple courtesy and cooperation will go a long way to enhance everybody's job and their skills.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
I feel that we all need to work together also, and you know, each elected official should run their own office, and I don't think the commissioners should have a whole lot to say about how they run their office.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you will have the first opportunity to answer this question, and it is a late arrival, so to speak. Both of you have mentioned a lot of talk about doing things behind closed doors. Does that mean you're against operating with transparency? Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes to respond.
No, but I think personnel issues are behind closed doors.
Thank you. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes, sir.
The commissioners by law have to observe the sunshine laws. My years with the school board as well as the Pike County Soil and Water has taught me that there are no behind closed doors when it comes to the public meetings and so forth. Personnel by law, again, is restricted, and my years, well, it'd be 19 years total, having to work with the sunshine law has taught me a lot about what's appropriate and inappropriate to have out in the public specter. But the general workings, conversations, and actions will be in public.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you will have the chance to answer this question first. While there has been plenty of news coverage about conflict in the Commissioner's office, there's been little effort by the Commission to reach out to local media. How do you view the importance of utilizing media to reach out to residents and keep people informed? You have 2 minutes, sir.
The county commissioners are very well represented with the minutes. Jim, once a month is what all the minutes, and yeah, Kurt, you all are in once a month, and it's basically everything's there as far as that. As far as the conflict and with the media, I don't know if I should say this, but that individual isn't in an office anymore. And as far as either Terry or I getting elected to that position, you know, we're starting fresh. So I have no problems with talking to all three of the papers. It's, you know, if it's news, let's put it out there.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes, sir.
I agree with Chris. If it's news, put it out there. But the squabbling and the fighting and stuff has got to stop. And I don't think we need to do that. That doesn't need to be in the paper.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you will have the first opportunity to answer this question. Pike County has an incredible 600 miles of roads to maintain. The existing road and bridge tax continues to bring in needed revenue, but it does not have a sunset clause. Should it have a sunset clause, and why or why not? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I'm not very well informed on that one, so I don't really think I can honestly answer that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes, sir.
If the sunset clause is the same as like bond issues, tax stuff that the school would have had, they would have had to have been done when the original issue was passed in a sunset. But if it's an open one and we're getting along, why change a good flat tire? No, I didn't say that right. Why change a good tire if it isn't flat? Or else it'll go thumpity thumpity thump. Yes, we do have 600 miles. And there's another issue that we still have a special road district, and I believe they're 200 and some miles, right, Buck? That you all oversee?
How many?
You're all special road. How many miles do you all oversee? 41, excuse me. And that was tabled a few years ago about absorbing that in. That would be another increase in our tax needs as far as the countywide. If the sunset clause was open, I'd have to look into it about closing it, because what are you going to do? You're going to have to pass another issue of some kind. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gamm, you will have the opportunity to answer this question first. Pike County has its own port authority, which is shared with Lincoln County. But recently, a private group announced plans to seek approval of a huge transportation hub near Winfield. What are your thoughts on the importance and the need of developing a port in Pike County? You have 2 minutes.
It's very important. Being able to utilize what was formerly Dundee, Wholesome down there, it's been delayed, what I've understood, by some kind of environmental impact group. Also, the resale of some of the land that didn't all include the river front and the existing barge facilities there. That would be one way we could really get in a quality business of some kind to utilize what's down there and facilitate side growth of other businesses, shipping coal, stuff like that. Who knows what could take place down the road with a good port. As St. Louis is getting more congested, there are several that have closed. One of them is a fertilizer facility. The last one from Dubuque, Iowa south was closed, so basically our fertilizer now has to come in by truck, which makes it a little more expensive. So yes, a port authority in Pike County would be one of the utmost things to try to get in here.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
It's my understanding we've already got a port authority in Wayne B. Smith down here, and I know he gets salt in and fertilizer and stuff like that, and rock, or not rock, but that kind of coal. But I think we should work with him and maybe see what other needs, if there is another need, help that business get along instead of spending taxpayer dollars to open up another facility.
Thank you very much. Mr. Burris, you will have the opportunity to answer this question first. It is this: how, quote, available are you to adequately perform the duties of this office? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I retired in January of 2014. I would be available anytime.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you have 2 minutes.
I'd be available whenever, wherever. My brother Jerry and I and our farming enterprise, we've scaled back. We're down to a cow-calf operation with 160 cows right now. About 100 acres of row crops, and that's for forage for the cows. Because of my accident last fall, my free time, I was building houses, remodeling houses, doing electrical work on a self-employed basis. And I physically can't do that anymore. So I would be available and responsive to the needs when the duty called.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gamm, you will have the opportunity to answer this question first. Do you have a specific platform? You have 2 minutes, sir.
I ought to tell a joke on that one. But I won't. No, the platform basically is going to be working together, respecting one another's position, respecting one another's voice and their idea. I don't mean to preach at you. God made each of us in his own image. And I look out there and I don't see my twin anywhere. So that means you too have a special gift. And one of them is you desire to serve this county and serve other people. And that is the main platform, that I will work together, not as a boss, but as a co-worker doing the work.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burris, you have 2 minutes.
I'm not going in with any kind of platform either. I want to go in with an open mind, start fresh, and see if we can't get a new start.
Thank you very much. Well, folks, we've been at this for almost 45 minutes. Does it seem like it's been that long?
2 hours.
Yeah, it seems like 2 hours. Is that what it seems like? We're going to take just a 10-minute break, but don't go anywhere, okay? Because we got economic questions, some from the audience, some from the media when we come back. So, Mr. Burris, you will have the first opportunity to answer when we come back.